You know, artificial intelligence, it's not science fiction anymore, not by a long shot. It's already a fundamental part of our lives, from the smartphones we carry everywhere to the hospitals that take care of us, and even the cars on our roads. And the promise of this technology, it's absolutely staggering.
I mean, just take a second and think about it. AI could help us do incredible things, democratize services we all need, design new medicines that could save millions, and even slash our energy use to fight climate change. The potential here is just immense. We're talking about a tool that could seriously improve countless lives and help us tackle some of the biggest problems on the planet.
But, and this is the big but, there's a crucial question hanging over all of that incredible potential. As we're building these unbelievably powerful systems, are we actually teaching them our values, our sense of what's right and wrong? Or are we accidentally creating something so powerful that we can't really control or maybe even understand it?
And that really gets to the heart of the matter. With the immense power that AI brings to the table comes a whole new, super complex set of ethical challenges. And look, these aren't some far-off futuristic worries. Nope, these are problems we're dealing with right here, right now, and we have to navigate them really carefully if we want all the good stuff without the bad. So, what do we even mean when we say AI ethics? Well, it all boils down to that central question. It's the framework for how we, the people making this stuff, should act. How do we make sure these systems are built to do the least amount of harm? How do we stop them from copying our own worst biases? And ultimately, how do we make sure they truly benefit everyone in society?
All right, let's start with one of the biggest areas of impact, society itself. Because AI isn't just another gadget, it's a force that is actively reshaping our world, from the kinds of jobs we do to the news we read.
And this map really shows you the sheer scale of it all. We're talking about everything: the job market, economic inequality, our entire legal system, and even something as basic as social trust. Every single one of these areas comes with its own tangled web of ethical questions.
Let's take the future of work, for example. The experts are totally divided on this. For every expert who's warning about mass unemployment, you've got another one saying, don't worry, our creativity will just invent new jobs. A big survey of almost 2,000 experts showed their split right down the middle, 48% to 52%. The debate really comes down to this. In the past, new tech always ended up creating more jobs than it killed. But some people are arguing that AI is different, that for the first time, we've built a tool that can think like us, not just live like us. The bottom line, nobody really knows for sure. But okay, let's put the job numbers aside for just a moment, because there's a more sneaky and maybe more immediate problem we're already dealing with, and that's algorithmic bias, the huge risk that we are literally building our own prejudices right into the code that's making decisions about people's lives.
And this isn't some theoretical what-if scenario. This actually happened. Back in 2016, a huge investigation by ProPublica found that an AI system called Compass, which was being used all over the US to predict if criminals would reoffend, was almost twice as likely to wrongly flag Black defendants as high risk compared to white defendants. Why? The AI just learned and amplified the biases that were already in the historical data it was trained on.
And that right there brings us directly to our next big theme, trust. I mean, if we're going to let an AI decide who gets a loan or a job or even parole, we have to be able to trust that its decisions are fair and that we can hold it accountable. But yeah, that's a lot easier said than done. One of the biggest hurdles here is what's called the black box problem. A lot of the most powerful AIs out there, especially the ones using deep learning, are so ridiculously complex that even the engineers who built them can't tell you exactly how they got from point A to point B. The data goes in, an answer comes out, but the why in the middle, it's a total mystery. So how can you trust a decision if you can't even understand it? And if you can't understand it, who do you blame when things go wrong? I mean, think about it. Is it the coder who wrote the algorithm? The company that sold the system? The person who is actually using it? This whole mess is called distributed responsibility, and it's a perfect example of how accountability can just vanish into thin air when systems get this complex. Okay, so let's take all these abstract ideas and put them into a real-world test case, where all these ethical problems are literally on a collision course. The autonomous car. This technology isn't just about making your commute easier, it's basically a moving ethics problem. Now, for a little bit of context, self-driving isn't just an on or off switch. There are actually 6 different levels of automation. And here's the key thing. Most of the tech we have on the roads today still expects a human to be paying attention, ready to jump in at any second. And that is exactly where the lines of who's responsible get really, really blurry.
Now, check this out, because this is the massive legal shift that self-driving cars create. For 100 years, if there was a car crash, the legal principle was simple. Negligence. You find the driver who messed up, but if an AI causes the crash, the blame shifts from the person in the car to the company that made it. The legal principle becomes product liability, and that turns a fairly straightforward legal issue into an incredibly complicated and expensive nightmare.
So this is the ultimate question, isn't it? When that self-driving car makes a split-second decision that ends up hurting someone, who pays the price? Is it the owner sitting in the driver's seat, the manufacturer who built the car, the programmer who wrote the code? Our entire legal system just wasn't built to answer questions like these. Now, I know these challenges sound pretty daunting, but here's the good news. People are noticing. There's a massive global effort happening right now to build some ethical guardrails, some rules of the road for how we develop and use AI. And this has all become a really urgent conversation, like just in the last few years. It kicked off with Canada back in 2017, and since then, countries and big international groups like the EU and the OECD have been racing to create strategies and principles to guide the future of AI. It's a global problem that's finally getting a global response.
So what are these initiatives actually trying to do? Well, when you boil it all down, a few core principles keep popping up. They all agree that AI has to put human rights first, that we need transparency to fight that black box problem, that we have to have clear accountability. Basically, they're all trying to build a future where AI is fair, inclusive, and protects our privacy.
And that leaves us with one last really important thought. These rules are a great start, for sure, but this technology is moving at an unbelievable speed. So the real question isn't just for governments or for the tech giants. As AI gets woven deeper and deeper into our world, the ultimate responsibility for its impact, it doesn't just fall on one group, it falls on all of us.